From epic cinematic battles to the depths of Gotham's underbelly, DC movies have thrilled audiences with their visual spectacles for decades. But have you ever wondered what these films would look like without the magic of special effects? Let's start at the very beginning with 1978 Superman. Imagine a world without superhero movies. It's hard to fathom now, but it wasn't too long ago that the idea of bringing comic book characters to the big screen was nothing more than a pipe dream. That is, until Richard Donner came along. In 1978, Donner's adaptation of Superman burst onto the scene and changed everything. With Christopher Reeve donning the iconic red cape, the film solidified the character's place in pop culture and paved the way for countless superhero movies to come. But as groundbreaking as Superman was, Donner and his team faced a daunting challenge. How do you make a man fly without the aid of modern special effects? Enter Zoran Perisic and his Zoptic front projection system. Using a combination of projectors and mirrored lenses, Perisic's creation allowed Superman to soar across the screen with breathtaking realism. It was a cinematic feat indeed. Of course, our generation has it a lot easier than Donner did. With the aid of cutting-edge technology, modern filmmakers can create almost anything they can imagine. But as impressive as they may be, I think we all owe a debt to Donner and his team, who showed us that anything is possible if you have a little imagination. However, VFX technology was still not as advanced in the mid-2000s, as we can see with Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan's a master of practical effects, bringing a sense of realism to even the most fantastical scenes. I mean, the guy's literally recreating a nuclear explosion practically for his upcoming Oppenheimer. But even the great Nolan knows when to turn to his VFX team for a little extra magic. When it came to his 2005 hit, he and his team faced the daunting task of bringing the iconic Batmobile to life. Visual effects co-supervisor Dan Glass explained that while the film was essentially a non-effects movie, there were still almost 600 effects shots involved. To achieve the desired effect, the team used a combination of trick shots and miniatures to make the Batmobile look as convincing as possible. But these weren't your run-of-the-mill miniatures. Glass and his partner Yannick Surs opted to create a 3/4 scale 5-foot Batmobile for the film, and even pushed to use larger miniatures wherever possible. The end result was nothing short of spectacular, with UK-based visual effects house Double Negative completing half of the effect shots in the movie. Their efforts were so impressive, in fact, that they were even nominated at the Visual Effects Society Awards. However, not every DC film received the same amount of acclaim, despite having a cult following. I'm talking, of course, about Zack Snyder's Watchmen. Despite all the haters, the film eventually found its audience and even managed to get a 64% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. One thing that even the naysayers could agree on was that Jackie Earle Haley absolutely crushed it as Rorschach, one of the masked vigilantes in the film. In fact, the actor's performance was so memorable that he stole the show, even though he had to wear a sock on his head the whole time. Yep, you heard me right. In a behind-the-scenes featurette, Haley revealed how the character's distinctive moving mask was created. The eye holes were designed to be large enough to show Rorschach's eyebrows and eye expressions. The visual effects supervisor, John DJ Desjardins, explained that Haley had to emote and act with the mask on. Later, they added in the tracking markers and replaced everything on his face in post-production. Talk about some serious dedication. DJ also made sure to study the work of comic book artist Dave Gibbons, who collaborated with writer Alan Moore on the original Watchmen graphic novel. He wanted to make sure that the mask's design was true to the source material, even down to the black blots that indicate Rorschach's mood. DJ was all about that level of detail, and it definitely shows in the final product. However, I'm sure we can all agree that some DC flops are completely irredeemable, such as 2011's Green Lantern. This flick had a whopping $200 million production budget, but only managed to bring in a measly $116 million domestically. Things didn't look promising from the get-go when fans found out that Hal Jordan's suit was going to be entirely made from CGI. As per the VFX supervisor, Karen Goulikas, this gave the team some flexibility with the design. They used witness cameras and had Ryan wear a tracking suit with dots on his neck and face for scenes where he wore the mask. In the end, the suit was passable, but the mask looked unnatural and totally ruined the overall effect. Screen Crush even said that Hal's digital mask made Reynolds look like a cat pretending to be a human. Let's be honest, some of that digital stuff looked really bad. While most people blamed the subpar CGI for Green Lantern's failure, Reynolds himself pointed the finger at the script. In fact, he revealed that there wasn't even a script when he signed on to star in the movie. All in all, Green Lantern was a mess of a movie, and it's hard to see how it could have been saved by anything, let alone a better script. At least we got to see Ryan Reynolds in a skin-tight green suit, right? Just don't ask me the color of anything. Getting back to the video, let's move a few years forward to 2016's Batman vs. Superman. One of the film's most visually stunning sequences was a montage that showed Superman saving people all around the world. All the while, news stations debated whether or not he was welcome on Earth. The film's VFX supervisor, Brian Hirota, revealed that Henry Cavill was digitally inserted into numerous dangerous situations and natural disasters. That isn't really a shocker. I mean, you can't really throw your lead star into a flood to go around saving extras. The real shots were taken on an asphalt backlot in Michigan. To create the final product, the team used their Flowline software to simulate the river and debris going around the houses. They added extra houses, trees, and distant mountain ranges too, and as the camera turned around, they added Superman to complete the scene. While the scene was visually impressive, the film's critical reception was mixed. But regardless of the reviews, it's clear that the VFX team put in a lot of effort to create a compelling world for DC's two most iconic heroes to battle in. But do you know what's more impressive than a fight between two heroes? A fight between 5 heroes and a big baddie, as we saw in the Snyderless Justice League. The Justice League movie didn't quite reach the heights of Wonder Woman, but it did manage to perform better with critics than its 3 predecessors. Unfortunately, the film was beset by problems from the start, with director Zack Snyder leaving the project after his daughter's tragic passing. Marvel veteran Joss Whedon was brought in to finish the movie, but his style clashed with Snyder's vision, resulting in a somewhat disjointed final product. One of the most talked about aspects of Justice League's production was the Mustache Gate scandal. Henry Cavill had grown a mustache for his role in Mission Impossible Fallout, but Paramount refused to let him shave it off for the JL reshoots. Warner Bros. Was forced to digitally remove the facial hair in post-production, which resulted in some questionable CGI work that left Cavill's mouth looking deformed in certain scenes. All in all, it seems like Justice League was a bit of a mess behind the scenes, but hey, at least Snyder came back to save the day with his complete version. But hey, that's all for how all these DC films looked without any VFX.